Lois Lerner, the director of the IRS Tax-Exempt Organizations Division, says tonight that she will exercise her Fifth Amendment right to incriminate herself. Lerner was supposed to testify before Congress tomorrow. Tonight, Fox 19's ongoing investigation has led us to one name in the Cincinnati office, a manager who reports directly to Washington. Ben's releasing the details in a reality check you won't see anywhere else.
The claim that the ongoing IRS scandal was among low-level employees is falling apart. The 6 Cincinnati workers we have identified who sent scrutinizing letters to conservative groups with words like Patriot, Liberty, Tea Party, or 912 in their names are Mitchell Steele, Carly Young, Joseph Herr, Stephen Siak, Liz Hoffaker, and a woman identified only as Ms. Richards. But was all of this done at the hands of a small group of Cincinnati employees working together? During Friday's congressional hearing, that appeared to be the theme.
This small group of people in the Cincinnati office screwed up. Nobody's going to deny that.
Well, that explanation just became less likely. Thanks to 2 sources connected to the IRS, we now understand the chain of command for these workers. Mitchell Steele, Carly Young, Joseph Herr, and Liz Hoffaker each are IRS agents. Stephen Siak is a supervisor IRS agent. But according to the IRS employee directory, which Fox 19 has obtained exclusively, each of these agents has a different manager, and then above them, a different territory manager. Now that is important because while it may sound reasonable to the average person that these workers began targeting groups on their own, the IRS structure is designed to prevent that. Here's how it works. When an application for tax-exempt status comes into the IRS, agents have 270 days to work through that application. If the application is not processed within those 270 days, it automatically triggers flags in the system. When that happens, individual agents are required to input a status update on that individual case once a month, every month until the case is resolved. Now keep in mind, at least 300 groups were targeted out of Cincinnati alone. Those applications spent anywhere from 18 months to nearly 3 years in the system, and some still don't have their nonprofit status. 300 groups times at least 18 months for each one. Well, that means thousands of red flags would have been generated in the system. So who in the chain of command would receive all these flags? The answer, again, according to the IRS directory, one woman in Cincinnati, Cindy Thomas, the program manager of the tax-exempt division. Because all 6 of our workers have different individual and territory managers, Cindy Thomas is the one manager they all have in common. And it turns out Cindy Thomas's name is one we've heard before. The independent journalism group ProPublica says in November of 2012, they had requested information on conservative groups that receive nonprofit status. But along with that information, the IRS released private information on 9 conservative groups that had not yet been approved and personal information that had not been redacted.
Wyoming posted on Facebook that he'd like to know why the IRS shared information from Tea Party groups with the liberal media group ProPublica. Does anybody have an answer to that?
There were in the media discussions of the release of some data to ProPublica. A referral was made to TIGTA on that out of our offices, and at this point, I think Mr. Jones speaks that better than I.
The person who signed off on that release, Cindy Thomas. So what this means for you, consider this chain of command since the story broke. Former acting IRS Commissioner Stephen Miller retires. Joseph Grant retires. Lois Lerner says she will invoke her Fifth Amendment right. Holly Paz, subpoenaed to be interviewed in Washington, and all of them based in D.C. Then one level down is Cindy Thomas, the highest ranking employee in Cincinnati in this department that no one in Congress is talking to yet. And that is Reality Check.
You can find the sources for the story on our website, fox19.com. And if you'd like to make your voice heard, head over to Ben's Facebook page. You can find it by searching Ben Swan. We're working hard to stay in front of the story for you. Stick with Fox 19 for any developments on air, online, and on your mobile device.